You see our fancy sign? We're moving ahead now. It's now 11:02. A lot of people were complaining. If you happen to be on now, that live at 11:05 starts exactly live at 11:05, and for you to get tuned into it and everything else, you missed the first minute or so. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up with something better than this and something better than that for an intro, and we'll probably start the intro at about whatever. What is Josh, the voice of Spirit Cars, think? When are we going to start the intro?
Infomercial.
Are you going to do an infomercial first? Yeah. Oh wow, that's a good idea.
Try to sell some.
Okay. So we'll start about 11:02 and pump in an infomercial when we get that technology available. But we'll keep the live stream going up until 11:05. And right now we are 11:03. See, 11:03, we're actually going to be on time here. So it's not exactly dead air. Can you follow that around? Can we make a sign interesting? Hey, if you look at the old signs, the scrolling of the back in the 30s and the 20th Century Fox and all them movies, this is about what they had. There we go. That would come across. We want something a little bit better than that, though. A little newer technology. Some Star Wars stuff. Hey. Oh, this would be good. Here, you hold this up here. You hold this up here. What time we got? $11:04. Perfect timing. We got it.
Uh-oh, pulling out the torch.
We are going live at 11:05.
Oh, almost burned me.
Live at 11:05. Where's OSHA? We need him in here. All right.
Fire department.
Yeah. Okay, we're live. 11:05 on BC. And Josh, the voice of Spirit, is behind. I'm going to put this back. It's not my department. I'll be in trouble if it's not where it belongs. Yesterday we had some technical difficulties. We did the video. The video looked good, and for the first about hour or 2 hours, it posted up onto the Facebook page. And then after about 2 hours, it just the video locked up at about 2 minutes, and you didn't see the end. But Sean, we showed this in the beginning. The gas tank. This is Larry's car. We're sitting up a little bit higher, and he didn't really like it that way, and he was right. It's better down. So I gave Sean 5 minutes to mock it up, and he actually got it accomplished. But you couldn't see that in the video, and I'm sure Larry is anxious to see what it looks like, so this is what it looks like. So we started here just so Larry could see that. We're going to work on Rob's car, though, today. We're trying to get it done.
Eddie's working on the seat, and he's got the sliders working that will clear the frame. So we'll get some pictures of that and post it on the Facebook page, and maybe even show part of the video tomorrow of his seat.
So that's an update to Larry and anybody else that's here. So tonight at 9 o'clock, we're going to do a 9 o'clock. It's prime time, Tuesday night. That's the time we're going to do it. Looks like Chris is working away here. It's a little noisy till he gets. You done bowling? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, 9 o'clock tonight. If you have any questions that we can answer, we want to make it interactive. We're going to try to set up a computer next to the video, and maybe even do put the thing on a tripod so it's not so jumpy, and get the mic right so you can hear it good. And I'd really like to answer some questions. So if you have questions, put them on now. And if you can be there at 9 o'clock tonight, come on, and if we can see questions coming across the comments board, I'll see if I can answer them then. Right now, we're getting close on Rob's car. It's Rob's from Vegas. Way cool. The frame is Z'd. I need to work on my pronunciation. I've been listening to the videos. It has a Z'd frame, and wild radical motor. He said it dynoed out at about 800 and something, and then he builds these real neat nitrous systems. And when you put nitrous on it, it gets up almost another 200 miles or 200 horsepower. So radical car. So I'm just going to go over today kind of how we accomplished what we got going on. So Again, we don't have our signal strengthened in the back of the shop yet, but I think we can. Are we good? We got bars.
Yep.
If you can look in here, I'm gonna let Josh just kind of show around. I'll hop on the other side. We're talking a lot about shapes and pieces. You can see in here our floor has a Cormat or Nitacore. Plascore, I think it's called, is the brand we use now. This is a honeycomb, a plastic honeycomb. It has fiberglass underneath and fiberglass on top. And when we delivered the car, the floor was installed, but the floor was lower than this, and this piece was attached. So what he did, he cut this out and raised it. We're going to fill this panel. And I wasn't part of the mock-up, so I'm assuming he had some lines here. He determined that this was a line and has the same line across on the other side. That's the bottom of the floor. So he had a cardboard tube that he had for a trans tunnel. We mocked it up, we glassed that tube, pulled the tube off and cleaned it up. We had another kind of tube and some tape to sort of make this shape. I had this shape here already in a trans tunnel from another car that I cut and molded in. These here, it had a nice round, so what I had is a Model A deck lid that had that round, so I seen that shape. I said, all right, that'll work there. So I made that deck lid piece and cut just this out. So we got it all bonded in here. Chris is going to take and hand lay all this now. A couple tips. These are tips that they'll be helpful if you ever do very much of this. We held these in with screws, and down in the bottom with screws we got screws. Once the putty's dry, or if you're not using putty, you want to get it glassed in, but you don't want to glass over the tip of that screw. If you do, you're stuck. You can kind of see back here how this was screwed in. I'm starting to take the screws out because it's solid. Well, if you need to glass this, I left a screw here and I left a screw here, but I'm going to grind this one out because it's stripped, but I'm going to pull these out and I'm going to just glass this so that I can pull these screws out and move ahead farther. Now, if for some reason I've got a glass with the screw still in it, say I had a glass around both sides of this, just take a little piece of tape and put it over the head of that screw. That way if you get some fiberglass or something in there, you can peel that tape off and still take the screw out. So there's your handy tip for today if you're fabricating fiberglass. One of the keys to a good hot rod, in my opinion, they got to be clean, they got to look good. I mean, aesthetics is everything. It's nice if they run good too, but I like to drive the cars we build. And if it's not comfortable to drive, you may look cool in it, but it's just not comfortable to drive. Something that is just, without it, it's not comfortable. With it, it helps a bunch. Having a kick plate, a toe plate. So if I build an angle here, so at some point, this will have an angle here, but we're going to leave it for Rob because he's going to have his pedal placement. And since I don't have this mocked up on a frame with the motor and trans combination, we've got a little bit of a hump here because there'll be shifter linkage on this side, and he had a mark for his shifter over here, I believe, but I mean he's going to have to cut all that out, and Rob will put the toe plates in when he figures out how the steering column is going to go down, and the brake pedal, if you put the brake pedal on the right side or the left side of the steering column. It's always nice if you can 1-foot brake, but sometimes it's more convenient if you've got the pedal on the left side and 2-foot brake. So that's always an issue whenever you're building your interior and your floor. Consider what it's like to drive when you do it. On the front here, this section was cut out and he raised it up here. So I just had some angle pieces left over from the inside when we put the raise for the floor. I just cut an angle, bonded it in. I had it taped down here. That's all I do is I would tape all these pieces from this side. I pulled the tape off already. Bond it on the inside and then glass it on the inside. Now that it's all secure, when Chris gets done glassing the inside, we'll grind this, glass on top of that to make sure it's secure. Whatever it takes to get it where it needs to be. It'll be hard to see it, but I had a problem getting the 90 degree to be where I wanted on the bottom there. So I had to get a piece of wood. We screwed a piece of wood flat under the car, and we screwed the other one sideways. This one lined up better on this side. Didn't have to do that. The tape was enough to hold it. When I put this in, I've got it secure now. I put a piece of tape on there to hold that in because it was wanting to push out a little bit. That didn't work for me. So I just this was laying around. All I did was jam that thing in there, push it in, tape it on. Once the putty's dry, I can glass it. It's going to be, the stress will be in it, but it's not going to move the car. Do be aware though, if you build a lot of stress into something, if you've just got to take a piece of fiberglass and just wedge it way out, say I'm doing this firewall and I want to move this thing out 2 inches, you may need to stress relieve. If I'm going to bend it down here, I may need to cut some lines here to stress relieve this to pull this out. Because if I have too much pressure on it, that pressure is going to stay in there and it's going to want to ultimately pull it, and you may wind up with a stress crack in your paint or something. Won't be that big a deal if you make sure that it's pulled and you don't have too much tension on it. Other than that, I think we're going to flip this thing over here after lunch. I got a few other projects to do, but I'm going to try to have it primed tomorrow for our live at 11:05. We'll show the bottom of this. I think whether it's in primer or not, it'll be real close, and you'll be able to see what this looks like. And then that may be the last you see of this project until, hopefully, Rob, maybe we make a trip to Vegas when he gets it all done and do a live from Vegas. And he's, who knows, we'll see what the future has to hold there. I believe we have a special guest coming in tomorrow. Well, you never know who's going to show up around here, but there's no promises for anything. But again, friend of mine, Ernie, hot rod man. We decided this is how we're going to end the show. If this is the show, our little 1-minute thing here. He wrote a book here. It's just a bunch of little one-liners, not proverbs, but a lot of good stuff in them. The only things in life worth doing create happiness in the lives of others and spills over onto our own lives. So for today, it's live at 11:05. Please, please, please join us tonight at 9 o'clock. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. We're not doing this show for us. This is your show. As long as people want to see it, and we can be of help in helping you build your hot rod. We say around here we don't build cars, we build dreams. We'll keep doing it. As long as there's interest, we will gladly do it. And if there's no interest, well, I live in the I live in the reality world anyway. So for today, have a good day.